is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Alright guys, today I'm here at Art on Paper at booth D25 with Pedro Felipe Ventimiglia. Did I get that right, Pedro?
Yeah, it's very close.
Yes. Do you mind sharing your Instagram with us, please?
My Instagram is Ojo de Ají. O-J-O period D-E period A-J-I or Pedro Felipe.
Oh, okay. Thank you for spelling that for us. And do you want to share with us about the works you have on the booth here for display?
So what I'm showing here at the fair is a relational performance photography documentation process. Basically, it's a project that I've been working on for a while. It started with an exercise that I did with my brother, and he came up with one specific word, and I translated that word into a color palette, and then I created a design and printed a fabric with those colors, and then I have used that fabric during a performance in which I give my body and the fabric to the audience along with a digital camera, and I allow them to pose me physically and use the fabric on my body as they wish.
Oh wow.
And for them to take a picture of that quick creative process that they just experienced. So what I take home is their pictures with me in a specific pose, and then I abstract what the picture is showing of my body. I abstract my body, and what is left is just the fabric on my body.
Oh wow. And how did you come up with such a great idea? Where did it come from?
It's been a process. When I did that quick exercise with my brother, it was just a fun way of me developing a color palette, and then eventually I wanted to keep working with the same idea, and it just evolved. And I think that's sort of my creative process. I start with a simple pattern, and I see where that takes me. So it was never meant to be this from the beginning, but it's more like a process. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm still interested in this project, but what else can I do with it? And I do like creating environments where I have a conversation physically or verbally with the audience. So that's why, and basically what I want is the audience to feel a moment of creativity. So that's why I basically give my body and my artwork for them to play with it and work with it and then take a picture. It's a way of me sharing creativity with the audience.
Oh, this is so genius. And are you working on other mediums, or are you focusing on this type of medium right now?
I do work a lot with textiles, and I do also paper making, which I'm hoping to show next year. I wanted to show this piece today because I like the idea of showing the raw paper behind the photograph. But I do work with paper making, especially a mixture of organic materials, recycled organic materials, as a way of documenting different spaces. It's a project that I've been doing between Ecuador and New York, and I basically just recycle leftover organic materials from the neighborhood, and I mix that into the pulp of the paper, and I make paper.
Oh wow.
And that also becomes specific. I call them tiles of paper, and I create bigger, larger pieces with small pieces of paper, sort of like mural pieces made out of small pieces of paper.
And how do you keep track of all your ideas? Do you write them down? Do you draw everything?
I do a lot of visual documentation. I do a lot of pictures. I do a lot of time lapse of my process, and I categorize that, and basically that. I don't do much writing. of those ideas, but I keep a very detailed visual documentation of what I'm doing. Yeah.
And what, like, when you go to the studio, what is that like for you? Do you, like, when you get to your art studio, can you work and, like, go to work right away? Or do you need to sit down, have a coffee?
I have to admit, I have waves. There are, for instance, last year I created a personal project. I wanted to push myself to design something every week. So I started time-lapsing my process and posted it on TikTok. And the pressure of having something every week allowed me to really get into it. So it depends. But then after the 6 months of doing that every week, I needed to take a break. But my creative process is not only making, but I also like collaborating, and I'm an art educator. So whenever my physical process of making art gets a little exhausting, then I turn into projects, creative projects for organizations or other people.
And do you have a time of the day to work? Do you prefer the morning, the nighttime, or are you pretty flexible?
I guess like a lot of people, you know, when I'm ready to work, I put on something on YouTube, a podcast or something, and I can sit there for hours. I would say I don't have a specific schedule. I have a specific projects that when I'm into it, I work overnight and I work during the day, but I don't have a specific schedule, I would say.
And is this your first time at the Art on Paper Fair?
Yes, it is my first time. It's been an incredible experience to work on something that is more on the commercial side, because I do like the personal projects that I work on. But this time has been more of okay, how can I turn this into something that has the potential of being commercial? And I've enjoyed it. I was talking to my students and I told them, once the artwork is finished is one thing, and then the little details of having something ready to be given to somebody who's interested, the little postcard, the little wrapping of the artwork, the framing, so all that has been an incredible experience.
Oh wow. And do you like getting the feedback from people and the observers, or do you kind of like to watch them afar, observe your work?
If somebody stands in front of my piece for more than 30 seconds, then I approach them. Of course, you know, I say hello, good morning, good afternoon. But if I see them looking at it and interested, then I get up and I give them a little more information. I give them a postcard and I talk to them.
And do you like hearing like what do they see in your work and what do they take away from it?
I think it's been interesting for them to figure it out what it is. I don't think they immediately know that it's me under the fabric or my body is under the fabric. So when I tell them what the process is, I think it becomes more clear of what it is, and I think that's a wonderful surprise for them as well.
No, it definitely was for me. I didn't really like understand, but I love the work. And then when you say that you're holding the fabric and then removing yourself from the picture, it's so fascinating.
Thank you.
Because you imagine the body there and the way, you know what I mean? It's like a whole process. So it's almost like you get two works in one work, you know, because you see the before and after so differently. And I see you have the fabric hanging on the wall. Is that the fabric that was used in the photo shoot?
Yes, that's the same fabric that I've been using for years, and of course it's been through a lot in the performances, so it's not as bright as it was at the beginning, and I love that. I kind of feel like it's like a safety blanket, you know. And actually, the whole series is called Dream, and Somnium, which is in Latin. So there's a whole series of works that I started doing with the idea of dreams. So that specific fabric in my own color alphabet palette means dream. So that also adds to it the idea of having a dream, going for your dreams, living your dream, hoping for a dream.
That's very nice. And do you have any like mediums or works that you want to tackle for the future?
I definitely want to start thinking about. I mean, I would love to work with wallpaper. I would love to work with. That's where I'm going. I probably something like that. Something that is
different and new, right?
Yeah. I kind of have this idea of like decorating a whole environment with my designs.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And I'm sure you're going to be able to.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. Thank you so much for participating. Can you share your Instagram again with us, please?
Okay, it's Ojo de Ají. OJODEAJI.
Perfect. And Pedro is in booth D25, guys, so please check him out. It's pretty amazing work.
Thank
and
you.
Stand in front of the work and admire like I did, and talk to him. He's here to engage with you guys and enjoy the fair, okay? Thanks again, Pedro.
Come visit us.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
All right, guys. Today I'm here with Moses Ross. Moses, how are you today?
Good, thank you. Guys coming by.
Yes, we are in booth D25 at Art on Paper Fair. Do you want to share with us your Instagram, please?
It's Moses_Ross. That's with one S.
Okay,
R-O-S.
Perfect. All right, so do you want to tell me a little bit about the work that you have on display here at the booth?
Yeah, but before I do that, I want to talk about ArteLatAm.
Of course, yeah.
The collective, it's a group of artists from Latin America who are living and working in New York and exhibiting their work here. So we came together as a force so that we can represent the Latinos that are working from Latin America and the Caribbean here in New York City.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And how long has ArteLatAm? How do you pronounce it?
ArteLatAm.
ArteLatAm. Yeah. How long has it been around?
ArteLatAm. The collective is about maybe 6 years now.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. But we've been exhibiting together, we were here last year at the Art on Paper, and we've also made a print portfolio together.
Nice.
And so we're doing collaborative efforts, whether it be artwork or exhibiting.
And how many artists is in this booth currently?
Well, right now there's 7.
7? Okay. And they're all Latinos?
All Latinos, from different countries,
Love that. So now let's go back to your work. Your work is so colorful.
Thank you.
I have no idea how you create this because it looks so complex. So please share with us a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, since people have to visualize this, it's work that's on paper. It's printed, but then it's cut and then assembled into a 3-dimensional form. So as you can imagine, a head that has maybe braids on it or hair, and then on an animal body, meaning a 4-legged animal, representing our labor, our work, and from that comes freedom, which is represented by wings. So that's what it is: a head body with an animal, a head with an animal body, and then with wings. So that's what that represents: freedom through work.
Love that. And how did you come up with this idea? Because this looks so innovative and it's so colorful.
Well, because I'm an architect by trade, and also so I make sculptures, public sculptures and things like that. But I also am a printmaker. So in this work, what I've done is I've combined the two, printmaking and sculpture. So my intent is to bring the 2-dimensional plane into a 3-dimensional realm. So that's what the artistic idea behind this. And I came through this. So like at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, they have the Assyrian sculptures there, the guardians of the city and all that. So that inspired me to come up with this idea, but in a more accessible, not so heavy in stone, but in paper, something light. And then what happens is, once I make these, these are connected to the base, so you get to see the 2-dimensional plane, the 3-dimensional plane, but then they wanted to fly, and that's where I made the mobiles.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah, the mobiles are the same figures that are hanging from a rod. So there's 2, so there's balance. So then you can see here the breeze is moving them around, and the colors of this are
Forensic?
No, not forensic. Oh, fluorescent.
Fluorescent.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Forgive us. That word is difficult for all Latinos.
I'm just tired here.
I know.
But,
I can imagine.
but it's all good. But the colors are like bright orange and yellow.
And how did you choose those colors?
Well, those colors came because after the pandemic, which was a very dark time in in our history, you know. So I wanted to bring something that was uplifting and joyful to the world. So that's why I came up with those colors. So there's also yellow and there's red and green, all kinds of colors, light blue, to really bring up the spirit, to lift the spirit.
And how does your creation process work? Where do ideas come to you?
My creative process, well, as you do your work, right? You develop something, and then you develop something, and then you get another idea from that, and you just sort of build on your past idea. So originally it was just flat prints. Yeah. But then eventually, from what I was drawing, the figures and things, they wanted to sort of break out of the flat plane of the paper into the real three-dimensional world. Yeah. So that's how just sort of seeing my work and then taking it to the next step as I go along, and just developing it to where it wants to go.
And are you doing this by freehand, or you have to draw and create a plan, or is it a very organic process?
Well, no, I make drawings. Yeah, absolutely. I do a lot of drawings to develop different ideas and see which one works the best. So the drawings are very important. I mean, that's the basis of art, is the drawing. Yeah. And then so that tells you okay, well, this doesn't work, so I can change it or add to it or take away and develop the sort of the plan of what it is, and then into the final product of what it is.
And how do you keep track of your ideas and inspiration? Do you have a little journal that you sketch ideas, or your notes app?
I got tons of journals where I write down ideas and things. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes it's drawing, sometimes it's words, or a combination of the two. Just as the ideas come to me, I write them down.
Oh wow! And then in your art studio, when you get in your art studio, how soon are you able to create? Do you need to sit down, have a coffee, read the newspaper, or can you sit down and get to work right away? How is that process for you?
It's kind of both. Mm-hmm. So let's say if I'm going in there and I'm gonna come up with something new, then I'll just sort of sit and sort of think about different things in my mind before I get started. Or if I have a project that's already ready to go, then I'll just start working on it and just work it through until it's completed. Yeah.
Got you. So, and then do you have any mediums that you want to tackle in the future?
Well, I mean, I would like to, these are paper, right? But which is very ephemeral. But I want to do more permanent sculpture, which I've done. And I've done stuff for the MTA and for the Department of Cultural Affairs, so a lot of work is that I've done. But I would like to return, because I've kind of stepped back a little bit from that, during the pandemic and everything. But I would like to get back into that. I mean, for instance, I'm working on a work for a homage to, or memorial, I should say, to James Baldwin, the American writer and civil rights activist. So that's going to be in the Bronx coming up. Actually, this month, the 21st, up by. He went to Dewey Clinton High School in the Bronx, so it's going to be there. So that's coming up soon, and so just sort of build up on that. You know? I mean, to me, it's as you got to build up and just keep on building up until you just got to keep on going with that.
Love that. Looking at your work, I think my first idea, the first visual I had was seeing this in a Central Park, a big large sculpture. I think would be so cool.
You hear that up there?
yes. Because it could be one of those interactive, you can climb on and touch, or be part of a playground.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks really cool. It's definitely it has so much colors and it's happy.
Right. I mean, I want my work to be joyful and playful, because I want that's what I want people to feel from what I do. I want them to make them happy. Because that's important. We have to be happy. I mean, we work hard, so we should be enjoying life as well.
And are you an artist that you like to hear people's input and what do they see in your work, or do you just like to admire them, admiring your work from afar?
No, I enjoy people's perspective.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people see things that I never thought of.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's interesting. You know. Yeah. So it's definitely good to get feedback from the public. And like before, there was some people looking at it, and it was like multi-generational. There was, like a grandmother and the mother and the young daughter, and they're all admiring it. So it reaches everyone. So that was beautiful.
That's so cool. Well, Moses, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for being on the podcast. Can you share your Instagram for those listening again, please?
Oh, okay. It's Moses _ Ross, ROS 1S.
1S, got it. Okay. And we are in booth D25, guys, so please check them out. A bunch of talented artists, designers, photographers, everything here for the Latino community. Until we see each other next time, hopefully I'll be climbing a sculpture of yours in the future at Central Park, right?
All right, I look forward to
that. All right, hopefully. Thank you again.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.